Hey again, everyone. I've got some cool records to show you. These are all recent vinyl finds, blind buys, thrift scores, and some VCLT in here. All very recent acquisitions of mine. I would like to give you a closer look at these as well as some quick needle drops on some of them. So let's get into it. All right, so let's start here with a little stack of 7-inch records I have. Now, all of these were VCLT, these 7 inches. So let's start with this one. And at any point during this video, you may get a little needle drop on some of these. So this first one is a band called Virginia Black Lung. And this is a Holland pressed 7-inch. Hardcore punk. The release is called No Gods, No Monsters, and it's really good stuff. I really dig it. It's great hardcore. And the person I got this from, Ryan Anderson, who's one of my YouTube subscribers, he sent me an album that he purchased of one of my bands, and he wanted me to sign it, and he graciously included a few free 7 inches with that shipment. So I really appreciate it. And this is one of my favorites of the batch he sent. Let me give you a quick needle drop. Okay, there we have it. Virginia Black Lung. I love this stuff. Next up, another one that Ryan sent me. Cool Kids Never Die. This is some garage rock, 1999 from Sweden. Pretty cool stuff. This is my second favorite of the things that Ryan sent me. And again, this is printed in Sweden. And yeah, let me give you a quick needle drop on this one too. Okay, there's the second one from Ryan. And here's another one from Ryan Anderson, Factory Men. Now this is a little weirder. This is like experimental, kind of noisy stuff. This is from 2007. It's on Ohio's My Mind's Eye label. And it's really kind of weird. It's like somebody who has a lot of Devo and Resonance damage made this. And it's pretty cool, pretty interesting. And maybe I'll give you a little needle drop on this too. All right, there's a quickie from Factory Men. Now this band here, Pretty Hurts, is another one Ryan sent me. And it's listed as punk. It's from Germany, and 2015 is when this came out. And I didn't really like this one as much as the others. I can't remember. Maybe it was just a little slower or slower paced than the other ones. I can't remember, but I didn't like this one quite as much as the other 7 inches. And this one here is another one that Ryan sent me, Growth. This is a band that's listed as a garage band. Came out in 2013 out of Sweden. I didn't like this one much either. This is pretty much just too slow and laid back for me, for what I heard of it. And not really my thing, but cool to have stuff from overseas, Sweden and Germany, these last two here. And then this one is from my friend Rob Ginsberg, who's also another subscriber of mine here on this channel. This is a 2021 release. It's a split 7-inch. The band's Sheer Terror and I Hate God. And this was made in Holland. And as you can see there, that little dude is wearing a Devo hat, because this record, not only is it a split 7-inch with two bands, but each band covers a 1980s synth pop song. So I Hate God covers Gates of Steel by Devo. And Sheer Terror covers New Life by Depeche Mode. And for these two fairly hardcore bands to be covering those synth pop songs. It's really great, and I'm glad to have this. There's another pressing of this 7-inch, which I believe is the US pressing, that has Boogie Boy, one of Devo's characters, on the cover of it. I'm still trying to find that one, but this, a great gift from my friend Rob. And speaking of my friend Rob, he also hooked me up recently with this great power pop record by a band called The Rings. This is 1981. Just real good pop rock, power pop stuff. If you like bands like The Producers and The Electrics and other power pop stuff like that from the 80s, this is good for you. I really dig this record. Total surprise to me. I'd never heard of The Rings before. So thank you, Rob, for that one. Now, next up, I'm going to go through some vinyl finds that I picked up at my favorite record store here in town, Sorry State Records. And this record trip was made possible by donations from my cool viewers. People sent me some tips and things on live streams and donations, and I went and spent it all on records, which I hardly ever do. I hardly ever buy new records for myself. So this is great. And this is the first Lords of the New Church album with the embossed cover. Really cool. This came out in 1982. New wave punk stuff. These guys came out of the band The Dead Boys, the punk band The Dead Boys from Ohio. This is more of a kind of a gothy new wave rock feel than the Dead Boys punk stuff. But I love Lords in the Church. It was great to find this really good quality, good condition debut album by them at Sorry State. Here's another one I got at Sorry State. This is a bootleg live recording by the band Descendants. Great punk band. They kind of started like the love song punk ethic, like the pop punk ethic, really. They took it to another level from where the Ramones started out. There's some great love songs here, and they're all really fast, punky songs. And this was recorded in 1987. I had no idea what to expect from this. Sometimes bootlegs can be a real bummer if they're not recorded well. And I got to say, when I first started listening to this, I thought it was horrible. The first few tracks, maybe the mix wasn't quite right. This is a board recording, I believe, a US TV broadcast. So as the record starts, it really kind of sounds shitty. But as it goes on, I started to realize what an energetic, power-packed show this must have been to be at. And by the time I got to the end of the record, I was really feeling it, man. It was some good energy. A bootleg recording for sure, but I'm glad to have it. If you're a Descendants fan, you'll probably enjoy it. Again, not a perfect recording, but I love the energy of it, and maybe I'll give you a quick needle drop on this one. Okay, next up, from Sorry State. Now, this was a blind buy. This is a band called Antichrist Demon Core. It's on a local North Carolina label called To Live a Lie. Now, I bought this just because I liked the cover art. The name was intriguing to me. Looked like it was going to be some pretty brutal stuff, right? The Oracles of Death. And this came out in 2020. It's listed as grindcore, hardcore, and I figured it's a one-sided only record, so I figured with all these songs on one side, it's got to be pretty thrashy and brutal and great, right? And it is, parts of it. Now, there's some songs on this that are really fast, and the guy's vocals are crazy, screamy kind of vocals, but then the songs kind of take a slower pace at some point, and then the guy's vocals totally change into more of a normal kind of guy sounding voice. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I like the fast parts on this, but the slow parts kind of ruin it for me. And I'll give you a quick needle drop on the stuff that I like. Okay, so there you heard the fast, crazy, screamy stuff that I like. I didn't play the parts that I didn't like. I just don't like them. But this is an okay experiment. And, I liked some of it, but not all of it. Moving on to more Sorry State purchases. This is the Landlords. They're a hardcore punk band from Virginia. They turned into a band called the Happy Flowers, which I am a huge collector of, and that's how I found out about Landlords. Happy Flowers is a really weird band. I don't even know if they're considered punk, but they're a weird band whose every album they did was kind of written from the perspective of a child. And each album, the child gets older. So I guess they had to stop making records when it got to teenage years because, duh, that's the end of childhood there. So, but the Landlords were the very first version of Happy Flowers. And there's the guys in Happy Flowers right there. And I haven't listened to this yet. I can't wait. Landlords don't have a whole lot of stuff out at all, maybe 2 or 3 releases. So this is going to be good to listen to later. Now, this next one, let me just tell you, I went to Sorry State Records to shop recently. I did a live stream. The money I spent there was all stuff that was donated to me on YouTube from my really cool subscribers. And the first stream I did, my battery was running out on my phone, so I only spent $75, $70 of my $100 budget that I set for myself. So I went back a couple days later and I got some things that were recommended to me from people who saw the Sorry State video, and they left comments in the chat that said, hey, you passed by this record, you might like it. You passed by this other record, you might like it. So I took them up on a couple of things. And this one here, I've seen it and I pondered it. I pondered getting it at Sorry State because my friend Vinyl Richie has mentioned this on his streams, and he loves it. He's got the shirt. He loves it. It's a Canadian band called Chain Whip, and this is their album called 14 Lashes. Came out in 2019. I believe this is the original Canadian pressing on Chain Whip Records. And this thing, I got to say, is damn incredible. The whole record, really fast, great hardcore stuff. I love it. I really love this. And thank you, Vinyl Richie, for turning me on to this initially. And after I saw a couple of comments in the chat about how great this was, I decided, okay, I'll go back and pick it up. So a couple days later, I went back and picked this up. Really glad to have this. I'm going to definitely give you a quick needle drop on some stuff from this. All right, so there you have Chain Whip. Love it. Great, great, thrashy, hardcore stuff. Now, in that same vein, here's another one that I went back and picked up a couple days later. I had $30-something left to spend on my budget, and I got these 2 records, Chain Whip and School Jerks, with that money. School Jerks is another Canadian hardcore band. This came out in 2012, their debut record. Great graphics on it. And yeah, there we go, more great graphics. But this one also is a total winner. If you haven't heard this and you're into hardcore punk, if you're into Chain Whip, this is awesome. And I'm going to give you a needle drop right now. So there's School Jerks. I love this record. I'm going to have to burn this on CD for myself so I can listen to it in the car and elsewhere. But totally great record. I'm into School Jerks for sure. Now here's another gift from my friend Rob Ginsberg. He picked this up for me at our local record store, Sorry State, while he was visiting last week. And this is Dr. Octagon, a really bizarre rapper who I got into in the late 90s. And his brand of rap is called horrorcore. And it's just really weird, just a lot of stuff about, mutilation and disease and just weird stuff. And this is called Moose Bumps. It's a double record set. It came out in 2018, and I haven't really had a chance to digest this yet. Rob and I and some friends listened to it a bit of it a few days ago, but we were kind of talking and socializing, and I wasn't really paying attention. So I'm going to listen to it again. But it's nice that the download card is actually a prescription card. It's pretty funny. But yeah, great graphics. And Dr. Octagon, really weird rap stuff, which I tend to enjoy. Now, this is funny. This is a second to the last thing I got to show you. It's the only, you're not going to believe this. Well, maybe you will believe this. This is the only Beatles-related music I've ever purchased on purpose. And I've always wanted this record for so long. It's McCartney 2, came out in 1980. And the only reason I wanted it was because of this song, Temporary Secretary. It's the most bizarre song I've ever heard by any Beatle. It's really great. I heard it when I was a kid. I fell in love with it, and I've always wanted this on vinyl. So I found this for like $6 or $7 at Sorry State. So I picked it up, and there's the beautiful gatefold, and look at him. But yeah, Temporary Secretary. If you haven't heard that, you are doing yourself a disservice. Go Google that right now and hear some Temporary Secretary by Paul McCartney. Now, the last thing I found was at a flea market this weekend. Slim Goodbody, his debut, The Inside Story, debut album, 1974. This guy was, I believe he was a special character on Captain Kangaroo back in the day, the kids show. And he wore this body suit showing muscles and bones, and he would teach kids about their body. And just a really weird, a really weird thing to see when you were a kid and when you're an adult. I met him in the early 2000s, late 90s. He was doing shows for kids at schools, at elementary schools. And me and my friends found out about it. I went and got one of my records signed by him. But I never had this one, and I was really glad to pick this up for a couple bucks at the flea market. Slim Goodbody, everybody. And let me just mention, while I was shopping at my favorite local record store, Sorry State, they gave me this free Rat pin back. And I love Rat. So thank you, Sorry State. So there's my vinyl finds, a bunch of great stuff. School Jerks, probably my favorite. School Jerks and Chain Whip, those records rule for sure. So everybody, thank you for the subscriptions to my channel. Thank you for the likes. May the rock and roll gods bless you as they've blessed me. And I'll talk to you later.